All right, so a little bit of time has passed since I mocked this up, looked at the fitment, and saw how it fit. I've now removed all my mock-up brackets, all the welds are ground down, all my screw-ups are also filled in and ground down. I'm gonna slide this out of here so I can show you. So when I mocked this up, it wasn't exactly straight. If you remember seeing, it was way far forward. That's because I just kind of eyeballed where I should have welded it in, and it didn't really work out all that well. What I'm gonna do to make sure I welded it in the right spot is going off my axle center line I marked when I had the solid axle in there. I should be able to use the wing mount to hub center location as how far I need to weld back that bracket on the frame. I found out my genius solution for this. I have my little bullet level on here, pretty damn close to level. I'm shimming the diff up with my old rubber bump stop as close as she'll get. And then what I'm doing here is taking this on my square, and in theory, with the level on my square and the square centered with the axle stub, I should be able to get at least a way more accurate measurement from center to mounting surface. It's going to take an extremely large amount of brain power to do all this at once. Pretty much on the edge of that mount, and we'll just have to hope and pray that it's as straight as I can get it. 5.5, I think, is pretty safe. So it's within 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. That's a lot of wiggle room. I think that's enough to work with, that I can at least make it look like it's center in the wheel well. Because I'm probably trying to do better than factory did with the stock rear end in this thing. So I have my 5.5 inches measured out of my frame from rough axle center line. And I have this 3/16 plate, which is probably overkill, but I'd like to have at least a little more structure than the, what is that, 1/8 frame material. So I think I should be safe using this. Works for me. Grab the welder. This bottle is 100% argon, which I use for TIG welding, as you're supposed to, but it should be fine for MIG welding. Okay, the rear end is slid back underneath the truck because I don't really know the best way to do the hole drilling. I think I want to drill the hole here, weld the plate on, put it back in place, mark the hole straight through, and then drill the hole in that one so I know it's going to be true. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. The centering is better, but it's not perfect. Yeah, I might end up moving that again because I can put the box on, put the wheel on, check it, drop it, and then play with it from there. Oh, great. All right, let's slap this box on solo again. There we go. All right, box is on. Now I can position it where it's supposed to be. I probably should have done this from the start, to be honest. This is way smarter. It looks better than I initially thought, but it's still not centered, and I want it to be pretty much perfect. Before, it was probably hitting that fender by a lot, and now it's hitting it by a bit less. So I'm gonna go check the other side and see if it's any better, to see if maybe I just have to move one. I doubt it, but just for verification purposes. Yeah, no, that ain't even close, buddy. Nope, cut them off and try again. Well, I don't think I've ever screamed more internally than I have trying to center the stupid rear end in the wheel wells. It's pretty close front to back that I think I can weld the brackets on and make up for it with shims on the mounts. So I'm gonna tack my brackets in there so I can get the weight of the truck back on the rear end so I can take a real look at how it sits. Today in uncomfortable working positions, we have truck. Okay. That was a pain in the ass, but it's tacked on. I think I've got it so it's pretty damn close. It's not perfect, but it is rolled a little bit, which is gonna change how it's sitting. Happier with that than I have been. It's a start. Yeah, there we go. The front plates are tacked in place. It's pretty damn close to where it needs to be. I'm gonna drop it out, get some better tacks on it, and then figure out how to drill my holes. I just realized I welded both these tabs on each side. And what I had wanted to do was mark and drill a hole in this one first so I could eye it up from this side. Okay, the diff is pushed back underneath. I'm going to jack it up, mark out my hole, drill it from this way, see how the centering is, and then try to drill it and mount it in there. The mount is up in the frame. It's square to the plates, as square as I can get it. And I'm just gonna check the distance between left to right for wheels. So she's really wide. There's my mental note for stick out there. I think that's pretty close. Okay, I made my marks. I think we're good. I've got my marks for where the hole is on the bottom and the side. I still have to square up exactly where that hole is going to be, but I think we're close. Oh, drilling this is going to suck. Oh boy. I need to figure out a way to do this better. I did end up borrowing from my dad one of these 90-degree drill adapters. This will at least allow me to drill in there, so thank God my dad had one of those. All right, here's where it gets entertaining, because it's really hard to put a side load on this thing. Oh yeah, this is difficult. All right, Betsy, let's go. There we go. Spoiler alert, part of me can't figure out how. I'm totally joking, by the way. My holes are not in the right spot. I just got my air compressor set up, and I'm going to have to use the old die grinder to hog my holes out once I get it back up in there and centered so I know where it's gonna be. Now you can see just how off I drilled my hole, or marked it, yeah, marked and drilled my hole. It's a lot, it's pretty bad, let's be honest. 90-degree die grinder with the air compressor, carbide burrs. Everyone knows die grinders are great because they throw lots of little metal filings, so I'm gonna try to keep myself nice and tight so I don't get them inside everywhere. Hey, there we go. It's kind of a shame to be showing you how bad this is. Just how much, yeah, there you go. That's how much I had to hog out of those holes to get that to fit. All right, so what I ended up doing is I found some little blocks of wood just to stop the pinion from rolling too far back. That's all I had. A ratchet strap wouldn't fit because the frame is sitting too low right now. There's no jack stands in the back, so let's plop it on the ground and check how it looks. It is sitting a little farther back than maybe it should. Ah, shit. The wheel is not centered, so what I can probably do, I might have some play with that pinion to get it to roll. So off of that mount, this is gonna move in an arc. I might be able to make up for it, but if my pinion angle is looking okay right now, I don't have a choice. I'm gonna have to move them. Yeah, if you look at the pinion angle, I could probably put a level on that, and it's pretty much level. If not, it's pointing a little bit down towards the floor. Yep, that is dead level. It is pointing just a slight bit down. I think it's hard to tell from my angle, but I gotta move that bracket. I don't have a choice. Now I have a lot more screwing around to do that I'm probably gonna do off camera because it's gonna be all the exact same work again. I'm not really excited for it. Yeah, so I don't know if it's been made very obvious, but I'm not exactly perfect. I don't know what measurement I screwed up, but the axle is too far back now. I'm gonna take a quick little measurement to see how far I gotta move it. And we're about maybe 1.5 inches to the fender there. And we are about just over 3 1/4, 3 3/8, I guess. So 1.5 and 3 1/4 is 4.75. 4 3/4. Oh, 4 3/4 divided by 2 is 2.375. I don't know what that is in fraction. Okay, it's about 2 3/8. So to have it perfectly centered, I need 2 3/8 inches from here to here and 2 3/8 from here to here. So I need to move it just under an inch, like 7/8 of an inch. So what I'll do is mark where this is, measure, we'll go an inch that way, draw my line, and then weld the back panel on. I don't know if you can really tell, but I'm not happy with myself that I have to do this again, but it's fabrication. I'm not a professional. That's life. Well, funnily enough, what actually kind of pisses me off, and I don't know where I screwed up. If you take a measurement from where I have that back plate mounted now to where I had it, which was that blue line there, the second time I installed it, you will notice 1 1/8 is almost exactly where I had it. That means all that stupid ass measuring I did with my levels, making sure the axle was level and measuring tapes, that worked. I must have not had it rolled properly when I had the box on. I don't know. I'm pissed. I'm actually more depressed than I am anything because this kind of sucks. I've been at this for a week now. That's how long this has taken me to get to this point. But like a week long for putting a diff in. Like, god damn it, this is just driving me crazy right now. Back to square one. All right, so mount number 4 is tacked in, and I just have the bolt through for lineup purposes on both sides. I'm gonna verify that the pin is level to the frame, and this wheel, if it's not centered in the wheel well, I'm going to scream. With the drill bit right, this is like kind of like using angle blocks without angle blocks. This mark right here with this drill bit, diff needs to match this to be level. This has got to be one of the stupidest solutions I've ever come up with to a problem. That's pretty damn close. I should be able to see how the tires sit like that. From first look, not really hopeful. Well, I've got news. The diff is back in. The truck's on the ground. And the amount of relief I feel because the tire is actually centered is incredible. I measured it. It is as close to center as it's gonna get. And the mounts that I welded on for the diff from a reference point in the frame are the exact same distance back, so the diff is not sitting crooked. About half of that second tread of poke on this side. Got about half of that second tread of poke on this side too. I think I did it. I think we're good. I don't care, it's in. I just have to make the mounts and drill the holes again, but it's in and it's done. I've had enough with this diff. I don't want to deal with it anymore.